Seems to be working. There we go. You guys hear me okay? Let me know if you got good audio. Working on a new computer setup here. All right, all right. All right, everything's going now, hopefully. Never noticed that. You guys got any audio coming through? Hopefully you can hear me. It's been a while since I've been able to do a stream. Just let me know if you got the audio coming through, so that way I know I'm good to go or not. What I've done is I've strung together a bunch of highlights for certain players in the pass game or maybe in the run game in the case of Lamar, but that's a limited number of plays there, to be honest. And what I would like to do is just show them tonight and get a live stream up, first one that I've done in a while, and try to just talk about the state of the Ravens pass game as it was some point week 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there, before Lamar was unable to play the rest of the season, and what we could expect in terms of the draft. I saw a really cool point made on Twitter. Caden, what's up, man? Thank you for letting me know. I saw a really cool point made on Twitter by someone I follow. I think his name is Mr. MF. He said Ravens fans want they want the offense to be like elite level, but they don't want us to draft. They don't want us to draft a lot of offensive players. It's kind of like there needs to be a paradigm shift a little bit, and I think that shift is happening. So part of this live stream this evening is going to be just basically part one. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I was going to do a live stream on potential offensive players that the Ravens could draft. I've done a decent amount of draft coverage on my other channel, which got me in trouble. And but I'm still doing some of that. It's just for my Patreon patrons. I'm not able to publish it on YouTube for fear of copyright strikes. But I have some thoughts on some of the offensive guys that the Ravens could draft, in second, third, fourth round, etc. I don't think you're going to see a first-round pick go offense. I think you're going to see first and third defense, possibly second go offense, unless the Ravens move back up. So in any case, what I wanted to do was show some of the pass concepts for particular players. And this first set is Mark Andrews. And Mark Andrews is obviously known for, his over route concepts. Everyone knows that, if he lines up tight to the line of tight to the right tackle, that his route tree is kind of limited. I talked about that in a video about 3 or 4 days ago. And in this case, you see him running another one of his patented over routes here, originating from the right side as I had drawn up. That's been prevalent. That's been a consistent theme in the Ravens offense for 2.5 years under Greg Roman. I did think there was some advancement in some of the concepts the Ravens ran. This over concept is kind of something that's left over from the days when the Ravens were really heavily weighted towards the run, and the over concept was designed to take advantage of the inside linebackers moving with, some type of play action fake. In this case, you got a running back who's not, he's not crossing Lamar's face. There's no mesh between the running back and the quarterback, so you're not going to get linebackers moving, with the running back or with the offensive line because there's no run fake. There's no play action per se. So this is not necessarily an over route from the standpoint of running behind the linebackers. You see, it's actually an under. The first guy here, Andrews, goes under the first inside linebacker, and then I think he goes behind the second guy. As the Ravens get J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards back next year, you would think that route is still going to be there in terms of one of the major elements for the Ravens. One that I think we need to do more of, and that maybe Lamar needs to get a little bit more consistent with, is the mesh concept. This is mesh. So I talked about this in a previous video that I released 3 or 4 days ago as well. This is Bateman, and he originated from this left side. I think this is Duvernay, and he was in the bunch over here to the right. And then Andrews is here. He ran, also from the right-hand side. So you've got 3 potential guys. 1, 2, 3. These other guys are not necessarily part of the read. Mesh is something that everyone runs. Every spread team at least runs it. You're going to get the 2 shallow crossers here. And then the one mesh play that the Ravens run, Andrews or a tight end will sit in the middle of the field. There are times where he will run a wheel or he'll run something outside releasing. I have stated in multiple videos that this route right here was open all year long. I think Marquise Brown was open on it twice. Sammy Watkins was open on it once. Bateman was open multiple times. And when I say open, what I mean is getting the ball to him right about here. Once they've already crossed, I'm still trying to gain familiarity with some of my Telestrator buttons. It's been so long since I've done a live stream. Once he's cleared the other under route, that's when this backside X is open. When I say backside X, I mean the guy, opposite the bunch. That's the X. Normally you have the Y, the Z, and the H, or whatever the that fourth receiver is called in your offense. But that backside X is open on mesh all year long, and I have mentioned in multiple videos, if you guys have watched my channel, that the guy who is open the most on mesh, if you ask me, is the receiver who's opposite the running back on mesh. That running back's going to release, and he's going to clear out this area here. Whoever the defender is in that area there is going to get cleared out, opening that space for the backside X. It's going to get vacated. You can see that this DB is with Freeman, and there's absolutely no one there. We still get a nice completion to Andrews, splitting the 2 guys defending near the hash. You guys still getting audio? Because I keep getting a notification that says my audio bit rate is low. Bateman is off screen and going to run this, under. Duvernay is going to go over the top, and then Andrews is going to go and sit right here. Freeman is the guy who releases here, and again, I think that is part of the reason that backside X was open so much, because there's attention. It's off screen here, we can't see it, to Freeman, who's released out here, and he's forcing a defender to vacate their zone if it is zone, allowing the backside X to fit into that spot. It's a lovely concept. Everyone uses it, like I said. The Ravens just never hit that X guy. over concept. Looks like against man by the Bengals. Yeah, you got man across the board here. So Pratt is manned on this out route here, and it looks like this other inside backer is manned on Andrews. Is going to run underneath of him, and it's a great throw and catch kind of in between the hashes. Tough catch. Lamar double pumps it over the top of, I can't remember who 59 is for the Bengals. I don't think he's as good a player as Wilson and Pratt. Still a good player. Get the end zone angle. First of all, it's a great catch by Andrews. So again, a similar concept, an over concept. That's one of the big parts of Mark Andrews' route tree in previous years. His route tree was more varied this year. I don't have any Green Bay film in this. I don't think I have any Rams film in this, to be honest with you. It's pretty much all up until about week 12 or 13, something like that. That's a fantastic catch. I mean, we talked about that many times. Bengals defense, pass coverage was good. They made things difficult. Andrews again on the right side. I do have a lot of data on these. I don't have the data displayed here. This is just a raw video file. So if you guys have seen some of my other videos, I've got data displayed for each play. This is an even better catch than the one against the Bengals, I think. Somebody on a stream one time was talking about throwing someone open. Andrews is certainly not open here. It's a cover 2 zone. And Lamar's going to throw this thing into this area here where there is vacated space. I mean, I don't know if that's throwing someone open or what, how you can quantify that, but it's a hell of a throw. It's Andrews' typical right to left movement. He caught one of those against the Lions too. He caught 2 of them against the Broncos. He did catch 1 against the Rams. Just that's his patented route, being tightly aligned to the right tackle. So when I say tightly aligned, his foot to me looks like it was 4 yards, maybe 4 yards, maybe 5, but definitely not too much more than 4. And then bringing it all the way back to the other side. Unreal catch. That's the DB who knocked himself out, I think. Knocked himself out of the game at least. Same concept against the Chargers. Beating a dead horse at this point. Andrews tightly aligned to the right tackle with Ricard between him, but you can see he's pretty damn close to that right tackle. And same route concept. I think, and I talked about this in a video earlier this week, Derwin James thinks he has help over here to the side, and he does not. The safety has spun down, and Andrews ends up being wide open. I mean, I guess PFF would say Derwin James is beat there, and I guess he is beat, but I think he believes he has help over here, you know, somewhere in that area by the BAL in Baltimore, and he does not. So it's a touchdown. But that same patented concept, man, he is really close to the right tackle. Look at that tight split. That's what 2.5, 3 yards. It's 3 yards, I guess, between Macari's right foot and Andrews' left foot. Here he is again, lined up tight to the right tackle, but a little bit wider than that previous play, maybe 5, 6 yards. Same thing, bringing it from the right side, except he's going to sit on the hash. When the Dolphins gave the Ravens this kind of coverage, we could throw the ball on them. When they gave us a typical coverage, be it zone or man, we were okay. But as soon as they brought sticks or, you know, what Kurt Warner initially called a blitz zero, Ravens had no answer for it that night. These are all typical concepts that Lamar's been throwing to Mark Andrews for the better part of 2.5 years. These concepts will still be there, especially with the return of J.K. and Gus, like I said, because the running game will improve. And hopefully the blocking will improve, right, as you see Villanueva flash across the screen. It's a nice job by Lamar of just sitting and waiting for that inside linebacker to run himself out of there with this. Again, the back is releasing here. So he's kind of pulling this inside linebacker out. And once that guy clears that hash, Lamar brings it back to Andrews. You got time and space, you can deliver the football. I'm going to move forward past some Andrews routes here because they are kind of, like I said, beating a dead horse, kind of repetitive. It's an out route, though, against the Broncos. But you can see when he's not lined up nearly as tight. He's not lined up nearly as tight to the tackle. I don't know if I get you to end zone angle here or not. Yeah, I do. So Andrews is off screen. I mean, look. So the right tackle's foot is somewhere around in here. You've got to be talking about at least 7-8 yards, if not more, probably more, right, between him and the tackle. Let's see if I can pause it at the right time. So there's Andrews' left foot, Macari's right foot. That's got to be every bit of 9 yards, maybe 10. So when you get the split of Andrews on the right, tells you something. He's not running this over concept from that far. You know, when I say that far, I mean that wide of an alignment over here. So his alignment kind of tells you some things about his route tree, and that's a deficiency of the Ravens passing game, if you ask me, is that you can look at the split of Andrews and you can say, okay, it's not an over route because he's lined up too damn wide to run an over route. Still a pretty damn good out route, though, and a good throw by Lamar. Nice wall created there, but they had to keep two backs in to do it, and the Broncos are only bringing 4. This edge guy doesn't blitz for some reason. He just sits in coverage. So only a 4-man rush, plenty of time. Great throw. I don't know why I skipped past that. What's up, Josh? How you doing, man? Josh, we were talking about something that you probably already have knowledge of because you've watched plenty of film and you've seen my live streams as well. And I picked up on this, a long time ago. Mark Andrews' split tells you a lot about the potential route that's coming, at least from him. When he's this wide from the right tackle, it's not going to be an over route that he's bringing to the middle of the field or even bringing back to the numbers over here on the other side, like some of these early routes. I showed like 3 of them in a row. So here he is here, this fantastic throw against the Colts, but he's lined up tight to the right tackle to do so, and that's one of the deficiencies of the Ravens' pass attack, is that you can tell some things by their formation. I think Skeptic Goat on Twitter put it best one time. He said the Ravens kind of reveal their intentions based on the formation, and I would say that is true. Again, over concept, but what's the indicator? He's lined up tight to the right tackle. He's lined up really close to the right tackle. You'll see how close. Thank you guys. You guys put a couple likes up. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a live stream, man. I finally have a working computer that's able to do it, and the other channel finally did get deleted, so I was able to move on from that and just go ahead and start live streaming on this one, which is nice. Starting over is a good thing sometimes. So look how close he is to Macari. And of course you got Ricard, who's a huge man between them, but you definitely have a pre-snap indicator for Andrews. To me, that would be one of the things that needs to change a little bit. And I know that other people are going to have other complaints. I mean, the offensive line, that's an obvious thing to say. Like I'm going to assume they're going to address the offensive line heavy in the draft and free agency. If they don't, then they're just not serious about being contenders. Not at all. Yeah, it's been something that's been constant, Josh. I mean, and look, to be honest with you, that's one of the gifts that I think I have through thousands of hours of work in football, is being able to notice those things. And some people don't notice those things, there's nothing wrong with that. Other people notice things I don't, and they point them out to me, which is what's cool about the live stream. But this play is it illustrates it perfectly. You know, the width you have from the tackle. That's just one of them things that's got to get better with the Ravens. We'll know early. We'll know. I think it was Skeptic or somebody on Twitter said, how many games will it take into the season for you to be able to tell if the Ravens offense has evolved? And I said 6 quarters. I think I said 6 quarters. I think it might have been a private message or something. But I said 6 quarters. It might be even less. Maybe 3. But if they come out with Andrews, we use the end zone angle here. If they come out with Andrews and Andrews' left foot is here and his right foot is here, it's an over route. It's an over route. Maybe an under, that goes over the top of the next linebacker. Yeah, I haven't been able to be as active on Twitter, Josh. I've been working a lot, but I'm working a whole lot less now in terms of regular hours. So I'm hoping to do this regularly, man. I enjoy doing Tuesday and Wednesday night live streams. I just don't want to get on. I don't want to get in the way of anybody else who does a live stream. Andrews, one of the things that let me get back on task just a little bit. One of the things that I liked a ton of was when the Ravens put Andrews as the backside X. To me, this causes defenses problems because now we can put whoever we got over here. In this case, I think it's Brown, and I think Bateman and Ricard, who I don't think Ricard will be there next year, so I'm not really caring about who's over that Ricard's on the field here. The major point is when we will put Andrews backside as the X in a 3-by-1 formation. So this is Tripp's pistol, because you got a pistol backfield and you got 3 guys here. When we put Andrews as the backside X, I just think that created hella problems for defenses. And his route tree looked more diverse. You had some slants, you had some outs, and in this case, I think you get a comeback, I believe. So his route tree looks a little less predictable, in my opinion, when he's lined up as the backside X, which sounds kind of silly, but that just tells you how predictable his route tree is when he's over on the right. It all depends on his split and whether he's on the line or off. I feel like Andrews is better as on the line of scrimmage guy. So like when he's on the line of scrimmage to the right, running out of a route, on the line of scrimmage meaning, even with the offensive line, and then back here as the X, he's even with the offensive line. I feel like he's better in that role. I'm not sure why. He doesn't seem to be. His route tree doesn't seem to be as dynamic when he's off the line of scrimmage. Now, having said that, the next 2 plays probably be some great shit that he did off the line of scrimmage. There he is off the line there. I knew it. I knew it was coming. He's off the line here as the Y. And then the Z is Prochet, and he's on, so that's kind of backwards. The Y should be on, the Z should be off. But in any case, and they're running this wheel up the sideline. This is a great play. It's kind of like a little fake throw to here by Lamar, and then bringing it back to the sideline. I'm sure you guys remember this one. This one was badass. And it was a laser thrown by Lamar, if you ask me. Looks like it's supposed to be cover 2 to this side. These guys are, even this guy is a little weird at first. His angle's a little bad, but we know the Colts DBs were struggling that game, and that's why they're playing so many soft coverages. I'm not sure about other people, but I love that Mark Andrews had so many catches this year and that he had so much impact, but I'd like to see him in the 80 to 85 catch range for next year, and the ball being spread more, more diversity in who's getting the football. Over to the right again, on the line, still kind of tight to the right tackle, but not as tight. And I think this is a blitz, a hot call, because this DB blitzes B gap, if I remember correct. And so it's just a hot call here, if you ask me. Colts just aren't covering him. Period. Uncovered, really, is what it is. It's just uncovered. Seemed like to me his yards after the catch went way, way up this year too. I mean, it damn near looks like the Ravens, kind of RPO look, but these guys are not they're not run blocking here at least. It's just play action. They did do a pin pull. Pin and pull is for those of you that don't know. Alex, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy? Alex and Josh, I'm gonna tell you guys one of the things I'm really bad at is on my videos not mentioning my patrons. So I want to mention that now. You guys, I really appreciate it. People joining my Patreon. I hopefully try to do something to in the off season to make it worth your while. Pin pull, if you don't know what that is a down, or some people call it back block on a D lineman who's inside shade, and then a pull by someone else. Some teams that run stretch, they're not all just running stretch to one side. Some teams run stretch with a pin pull technique, just to create angles. Alex, thanks for joining us. Still don't understand how even these cornerbacks who keep up with wide receivers get it. Yeah, that's a good point, Josh. Yeah, his yak was even against DBs sometimes, on them little like 5-yard stops or almost screens, he was able to elude them. That's a good point. Good point. Backside as the X again. Alex, if you're just joining, one of the things I was saying was I actually liked Mark Andrews' route tree more when he was the backside X. So when he was soloed up over there on the backside, am I saying that he's going to win every battle? Well, no, he's not going to win every battle, but he's damn sure going to win a lot of them. I like him as the backside X a lot. There's a little slant here. With his big frame, it makes it tough. Back crosses Lamar's face. So if it was an RPO and we're reading this guy, it looks like to me this guy comes forward. So this is a correct read. If he is in fact told to read it on this play, it could be. Yeah, Josh. Well, you got to get on the huddle, man. It's all organized and cut up, and I'm not using the huddle here, because you can tell because there's no data up here. But that's the nice thing about the huddle is all the data's there, down and distance personnel, formation, play direction, all that shit, and it's fun for me. I'm a junkie. Yeah, he's sudden. What a good word, Alex. Agreed. So sudden with what he did, and abrupt. Cuts were so abrupt that there was times where he would not necessarily juke people, but like Josh said, elude people, and the defender wouldn't just miss him; they'd miss him by like a full yard. This one obviously is extremely disappointing. But the one thing I do like about it is you got Andrews to one side, and then he's able to threaten to the other side. I mean, irrespective of the fact that the ball's incomplete and we lose the game, outside of that, he's lined up on one side and he's threatening the other side by running I call it a hide concept. Some people call it an under. Different people call it different. Uh-oh. Hopefully my stream picks back up. You guys still got me? Hopefully you guys still got audio. Yeah, that's a good point, Alex. Yep, that's a good point. The improv, or adjustments. Irrespective of the fact that this doesn't work, quote unquote, and whatever, whatever you want to say about it, the fact that he's lined up here is good, that he's threatening this side. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. We never did this when Andrews' feet were here on the right. Do you know what I mean? I was just talking about a minute ago, him being predictable depending on where he lines up. And the fact that he's on the left in order for us to do this to the right is still somewhat predictable. And I'm not saying that, the Steelers should have known this is coming, but there is film of this, of us doing this. And if you don't know, the next play is from the Colts game. Look at the formation. It's the same formation. Back is on the right. Andrews on the left. I have no idea why my stream software cut out for a minute. It's all updated and everything. I took like 40 minutes to get my stream software updated. So in any case, he's lined up here tight. It's the same concept. He's running out over here. So when we're talking about the Ravens pass game, kind of the point of this video is not just personnel and not just, hey, who should we draft for the offensive side? It's we got to be a little less predictable. And I can say that. And I mean, if someone wants to challenge me, on that, on Twitter or here or whatever, they can. I've got the database set up to prove it. I am consistently publishing videos, hopefully showing some of that. Like the formation videos I've put out. I don't know if you guys have seen them. But anyway, point being, going back to it again, maybe I stopped my explanation. We need to do this play when he's on the right and do this play to the left. I'm not saying it would magically work, but we're only doing this when he's on the left, and we're only doing this when we're in short yardage situations. That's one of the complaints about Greg Roman that is real and that I will co-sign. Couch Rider, what's up, man? Thank you for joining. There are certain complaints about Greg Roman and the offensive staff that I don't co-sign. I don't co-sign because it's not something that a person could back up with data. This is data. Like you can see, it's Alex just perfect timing. Why does every goal line pass play go to the right? Exactly. It's exactly. Someone said, now this is the reverse. This is the reverse of the formation that I've talked about. Andrews is on the left. So he's tightly aligned to the left tackle. And he's going to run this kind of like, I call it China in. For the system I know, China out is, faking the in and then going out. Other NFL people or people who only know NFL terminology call it a whip route. I mean, it is a whip route, but it's just different. It depends on what your terminology background is. This ends up looking like a China in, kind of, and then Lamar scrambles to the side. So Andrews brings it back to the side, and it's a hell of a throw. Alex, why does every goal line play go to the right? Yeah, absolutely, man. It's been that way since 2019, though. It's been that way since 19. When we lost to the Chiefs, and what week did we lose to the Chiefs in 2019? Was it week 2 or 3? Or was it 4? It was early, though. There was 2 3rd and 3s there where we ran to our right, pass plays to our right. One of them was to Willie Snead. The other one was to Andrews to our right back in 2019. And the Chiefs were all over it because they knew where it was going. So what you're talking about, Alex, is absolutely true. And that's data-driven because a person can show film of 6 third down plays and show all the plays, all the pass plays being to the right. Other criticisms of Greg Roman and the offensive staff. Well, it is funny, though. Certain people only criticize Greg Roman, but they don't criticize the whole offensive staff. I'm not down with that. If you're going to criticize the offensive staff, you criticize the entire offensive staff. Ocho, what's up, man? Why are you late, man? I hope you weren't watching the president's address. Oh, Empire of Judah. What a great question. Ooh. Pitta or Andrews? Well, one possible answer for that, Empire, first of all, man, thank you for joining, man. Appreciate it. Is Andrews' route tree I think is fairly simplified. Not because he's not capable of running a whole bunch of routes, but when Andrews is on and we talked about this earlier, when he's in one location, when he's aligned in one spot, he's running a particular route. His routes is very predictable depending on where he lines up. So I mean Pitta. I remember him running a lot of over routes too, for real. I love this play, and I talked about this in a video. I love this play from from my background, coaching, space concepts. You got something like this, just three guys evenly spaced out, and then you switch it up. The next time you do it, and you have this guy run the out. So you're running the same concepts, but the Ravens switched this up really cool. I like this. Andrews initially releases outside, and then Brown releases inside. But watch them when they get here. Somewhere around in here, Andrews will be here, and Brown will be right in here. My lines are probably all messed up drawn. Why didn't I just pause it here? And watch them switch again, like they switch back. I thought that was cool. Whether that is part of the design, which this part right here, this next second, that looks like the design, and then the rest of this looks like improv, or just playing football. Lamar's got time. That was one of the coolest ones that I saw, man. I mean, yeah, hey, Mr. Hazy, you want to say Pitta had a more diverse route tree? I mean, hey, I'm fine with that. I don't exactly remember it, to be honest with you. I know he did have like 2 or 3 really productive seasons for us, man, and that great postseason too, man. Got to give him respect. This is really supposed to be about the Ravens pass game. I'm supposed to be showing plays from multiple people. My first live stream that I've done in a while, so I was planning on being up in here for a while. I do not think we're going to be drafting a wide receiver or a tight end with the idea that that person's going to have an immediate impact. Unless somebody slides that shouldn't slide, right? Unless somebody's there that shouldn't be there. What's the guy's name from Georgia that had a lot of discipline issues? Is it Pickens? George Pickens? I do like him. EC, man, what's up, man? Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. I'm going to be able to do this a little more often now. My work schedule is way calmed down, so I'm no longer getting up at like 4 or 5 a.m. to be ready for work. This is the first play of the fourth quarter against the Broncos. Let me get back to the film. And this is taking advantage of the undisciplined nature of the sticks coverage. Now, this doesn't look like sticks coverage to you, and that's fine. But conceptually, they're doing the same thing. These guys are all looking at Lamar. This guy's helmet does kind of look like he's looking here, though, to be honest with you. But watch when Lamar comes out here and the back comes out here. Watch what these three dudes do. It's like when the pretty girl's at the mall, right? Everybody flocks to her. Everybody flocks to her. And nobody notices the girl that looks pretty good with a nice personality just running right by him, right? That's Mark Andrews. Andrew, first play of the fourth quarter, just gone. Great call by the offense. Of course, we got the hold on the left tackle. Not really a part of the Ravens' pass game in terms of a consistent concept, but that was one of those times where the Ravens coaches kind of made a nice adjustment, mid game or early fourth quarter. I call it sudden change, as some of you guys know. Couch Rider said they got to give Roman his flowers when he's hitting. Yeah, but I think there's a lot of imbalance in that. I think there's a lot of people who just don't want to give him credit. I mean, he is an option coach, so he is bullheaded. I can tell you from firsthand experience, option coaches are bullheaded, they're hard-headed, and they believe that they can run their option against you no matter what you do. And, in some cases that is true, and in some cases it's not. I'm going to move on to, man, all my Miami film is horrible. Horrible footage. What would you guys say with this alignment? This is the last one I'm going to show from Andrews. There's the right tackle's right foot and Andrews' left foot. Well, let's see. Do I give you the end zone angle? Well, you can't see Andrews off screen. You can't see Andrews on the screen. Here's his right foot. I mean, to me, that looks like 5 yards, what I just drew up right there. So Andrews is wider than 5 yards, I'm going to say. Let's call it 6, I guess. So what I'm saying, based on the alignment stuff that I think I've seen, is This is not going to be an over route. He's lined up too wide. And sure enough, it's not. Even though he's lined up to the right and he does have a tight split, it's not a tight enough split to be an over route. Anyway, I'm going to move on to other guys. I did one video on Bateman. I hope you guys watched it. This was going to be my second video on Bateman. Some of you guys know now this is not Bateman. This is Duvernay backside. I think Bateman is an X. I think Bateman is an X receiver that you can put backside and he can beat people. He can beat people one-on-one. I don't know if you guys believe that or not. I don't really care if he's a number 1 or if he's a 1A or if he's a 2. I don't care. Those things to me, they don't mean nothing. What matters is Bateman is an X. He is a guy you can put backside and he can beat people backside. He also, however, is a guy who can do this. Into the bunch, runs this little speed out. I think it's a speed out. Yeah, it's a speed out. There is a little bit of a push off there, a plant from his inside foot, and make the catch for a first down. I think Bateman should be a 75, 80 catch guy next year too, for real. I do. That's true, Godspeed. Good point. This one was perplexing to me. Not just the drop by Bateman. This is the slant where he is open as hell and drops it. But first of all, Godspeed, thank you for joining the stream. Appreciate it, man. And not only does he drop it though, like look how far back he is. This is the NFL to be off the line. Like look at Marquise Brown. That's off the line in the NFL, but he's still. I mean, I'm not drawing a perfectly straight line, but his right foot is with the left foot or the back foot of the guy who's on. This guy is on the line, right? And Brown is off. This is way off. This is like what high school guys do when they're told to line up off the line of scrimmage. He's in a backfield, you know, but I don't think that really impacts the play. I only saw this from him once. And maybe it had something to do with the type of route he ran because he's kind of pushing outside. I love Bateman's route running. I'm not one of them people that gets off on route running. Like I see those guys on Twitter that are like talking about the routes and, oh, look at this head fake here. I'm like, dude, he's just taking advantage of the leverage that he has. It's way too much put into, for me, it's way too much put into route running. I mean, some of the routes, they work together. Like look at this route here. We'll go end zone first and then we'll come back to the all 22. So Duvernay's the inside guy. He's the 3 receiver. He's running under. He's told to run in front of this guy's face. Why? To pull this guy this way. Why? So that Bateman's slant has space to hit right where that guy was pretty much just standing. That's not route running. That's just design of the play. And like people would sit there and talk about, oh, look how he takes the route out and pushes off the outside foot at the perfect time to catch it. Yeah, okay. That's just what he's coached to do. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I think people go off too much on route running when it's really just the design of the play and the players understanding when they're supposed to make their cut. Godspeed, who are you talking about, the alpha in the room? You mean Bateman? Because I think you're right. That's rare for him. 70, 75 catches should be the goal for the staff for him next year, if you ask me. This one was interesting to me early. You know, this was his second game, and he's in man against, God, I hope I can say this guy's name right because he's a good player, and I don't want to disrespect him. I think it's Owuzie. Really, really like him, man. I mean, you guys know from watching my channel some, even though they're, you know, division rivals, like I really respect and got a lot of admiration for all these people here playing defense for the Bengals, man. Very versatile group. Any case, pretty good coverage up here on Bateman, and I'm not saying that Bateman can't beat people man. I think he can, but in this case, pretty good coverage by Owuzie. Yeah, I would agree with you, Godspeed. Bateman's the real deal, and I think everybody else in that room knows it. Here he is down here against the Bears. I guess if you want to talk about routes and shakes and stuff off the line, you can here, because this is a pretty good job by him. Untouched. Not really exactly how you would coach it. To get into a technical. I'm trying to pause it. To get into a technical discussion about it would be fun, I guess, if it was certain people involved. Like to jump off and get in this. That's not exactly how you would tell everybody to do it. A supreme athlete though is going to be able to do that. That is awesome. And then he gets held. That was pretty obvious in the game. You can't see it here because this screen because of the shadows, here. So it's kind of tough to see down here. I know, but it was a pretty obvious DPI there, and he got two of them in that game, if I remember right. I don't know. Do you guys go off on routes the way that some of those people do? If you do, that's cool. I mean, I'm just not that. I don't really see where it's. I think it's an overrated skill. Let me put it that way by certain people. Not that it's not a skill that is needed. It is definitely a skill that's needed. I think it's an overrated skill. He's off the line up here against the Bears. This is the second defensive pass interference. He may have drawn three that game, actually. Gets held by the corner. Should have been a pick by the safety. This is the game-winning drive, I think, right here. Do you guys remember that? I think this is a game-winning drive. First or second play of the game-winning drive. Should have been a pick, but it was a penalty. J Mill, thank you for joining the stream, man. Backside now against the Dolphins. I think you're going to get a series of him backside. Easy E, what's up, man? Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. It's cool seeing some of the same names that was joining my streams on my previous channel. I think YouTube just deleted it today, by the way. This is a great catch, man. I hope I give you the end zone angle here, man. Look at that ball. I mean, that ball, if Rashad Bateman is not there, that ball is thrown right to the DB, but that's just a lot of trust by Lamar and putting it in a great spot. There might have been a D lineman in the throwing lane as well, if I remember correct. Hope I get, yeah, I do give you the end zone angle. All right, cool. Oh, man. I don't know why the end zone keeps getting cut off. I'm not sure what happened there. I downloaded this from my Huddle program. For those of you that don't know, my Patreon, I'm setting up a database with Ravens plays for people to be able to go watch, but I can only do it for my patrons. I mean, I can't have like 300 people up in there. But having said that, I would love for people to get up in there, and I think that might be why the end zone angle is getting cut off here, because the program, for whatever reason, I guess I didn't check. I wanted the end zone angle. Godspeed, separation, absolutely, yeah. At most sports skill, I would agree. Yeah, Bateman's good at everything. Would you say that? He's really good at everything. Let me rephrase that. Is there something he's great at? Probably catching the ball outside of that first one that I showed you, or second play I showed you against the Chargers. Yeah, I mean, Alex, it's like certain guys coming out of college, I've seen people do like a breakdown of their route running, and I watch it, and I'm like, hey, he's a receiver for Alabama. He's playing against, whoever he's playing against. Let's say the film was Alabama against Vanderbilt or whatever, whoever was against. And I'm like, yeah, he's going to have time to run two shakes and then make his cut, because the offensive line is worlds better than the D-line for Vanderbilt or whoever they're playing. So there's sometimes where I'm like, there's no equivalency of the two athletes you're talking about. So of course the route looks great. This one here, I can't wait to see people run this in 2022. I don't know about you guys, but I want to see it immediately. I want to see it in week 1, whoever we face. And I've said it multiple times, and I know I'm right, so I'll keep saying it. To go against this coverage, you go 3-by-1 and you put your best dude here. And you're either going to get them out of this coverage, or you're going to beat their ass with this guy backside the whole time. And I can say that because in high school, we saw this coverage one night, and we put our 6'5", 215-pound receiver backside here, and he has 16 catches for 220 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, we lost the game, because we couldn't play no defense. But my point is, if this is what people are going to play and they're going to bring heat and they're going to play straight man, you can call it blitz zero, I call it sticks, whatever. This is what you do. You go backside, you isolate this guy completely. If you remember in this game against this coverage, Bateman beat them on this route. He beat them on this route twice. He also beat them on a little bit of a sluggo. And it may not have actually been a sluggo if I remember now. It might have been just an outside release go. He also beat them on a deeper, I think, comeback in this coverage. So I've just drawn up a shitty route tree there. But Bateman can beat pretty much any corner in the league when he's isolating, given this much space, this much room to operate. Now, when they start dropping guys out, to help out with the slant, they're no longer bringing 7. So it's mission accomplished for us. I want to see that coverage in week 1. And if the Ravens don't have a great plan for it in week 1, then they're not going to have a great plan for it at all next year because they got the entire offseason to deal with it. Same coverage, but he ain't backside this time. He's down here, but he's got a slot. This is just out. This is not a sluggo, so I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. This is not a sluggo. This is just an outside release go up here. And look how undisciplined the DBs are. Good point, Godspeed. Maybe improve a little bit. Yeah. I agree. Absolutely. Totally in line. These two guys are reading this. They're reading Lamar. They're jumping this right now. They think he's going to the slot. Duvernay. They're jumping that. Watch this guy right here. And I pointed this out that week afterwards. I'm saying the same shit I said 2 days later after this game. I know I was right on first glance. They was the idea, the way to beat it was not throwing short. The way to beat it was this right here. Because these guys are cheating. Oh, man, my bad. Did I really do that? I did. Haven't been streaming in a while, man. I'm rusty. Yeah, maybe improve a little bit after the catch. That's a good point, Godspeed. Good point. I think he's, like you said, he's definitely capable. I agree, Couch. I agree. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I don't even know if I've read the comments on that video, but it was a fun video to make. I mean, it's fun as hell to watch Rashad Bateman. He looks so well, they're professional football players, so this is stupid, but he looks so smooth. He looks so capable of everything. Like Godspeed said, he looks so capable of everything. This is that little speed out. And the corners they're aggressive. The corners, the safeties are jumping everything. It's 3-by-1, 1, 2, 3. For those of you that don't remember, you probably don't because you probably watch a lot of people's content. I did not like that Andrews' route brought him over here. If we're going to be going backside, because what happens is he brings this guy with him. And that's the guy who prevents Bateman from scoring a touchdown. Now that safety's reading Lamar, but this guy right here is the guy who was guarding Andrews. To me, if we're going to go backside, I want Andrews running something like this, trying to get to this guy's right shoulder. Trying to get to his right shoulder if you can. But look, he's looking there. He's looking there. He's looking there. Now, hey, I've seen multiple people try to break down this sticks coverage. Some people with way bigger channels than I do, they didn't know what they were talking about. Them dudes are breaking on Lamar, period. Yeah, he's super smooth, man, super smooth. So that's, look, but look, there was a couple plays early, where Bateman, he had his drop for an interception against the Chargers. But otherwise, to me, and I use basketball references a lot because, for 25 years I played basketball like 360 days out of the year. I mean, where I'm from, everybody played basketball. And, yeah, that's a great point. Young D-Hop, wow. But to me, Bateman looks like that 6'2", 6'3" guard who posts you up if he needs to. Maybe he doesn't dunk, Maybe he don't dunk but once a week. But someone who can just do everything. Oh, man. Oh man. Oh man. Hopefully my stream is still up. Looks like it's shut down. Trey Wilson, man. Hopefully you can still hear me. I don't know if my stream's even still up. Looked like it died, but I mean, yeah, I would agree from the standpoint of how often he might be, how often he might be targeted in some other schemes or in some other, teams, offenses. But the only thing I would say is there is the ability for him to have, um, 70, 75 catches in this offense. Can you guys still hear me? I think it's shut down. Man, I'm that streamer who has issues. Yeah, he's just a hooper. He's just a hooper. He's just a guy who can do everything, but he's got a big. To me, my point was though with the basketball reference, if you're still with me, is that Bateman is that 6'2", 6'3" guard who's got a big enough body that he's too big for the little guys to guard, and he's too quick for the 6'6", power forward ish type guy to guard. I'm not talking about NBA. Ain't none of us here ever played in the NBA anyway. My point is Bateman is a big enough body to give people problems, but he's quick enough and smooth enough and makes good cuts, obviously, in his routes that he's a problem for anybody. He's a problem for anybody. I know there was a couple games late in the year where he didn't get much targets. Was it the Rams? He struggle streamer, exactly. Good point. I know there was it the Rams game where he didn't get many targets at all. All right, so this is I clicked on the wrong one. I think I have 10 plays here. This is Lamar, and you might get some repetitive plays here. To be honest with you, some of these concepts are things that people say Lamar is no good at, and I tried to illustrate some of those things in a video that I did on Lamar like maybe a week ago. This is backside to Watkins going against the rookie. I think Surtain, and we know Watkins. Everybody ate Surtain up that day. Apparently he had a good season, but everybody ate him up. The thing I like about some of these plays I'm gonna show with Lamar is I'm trying to show plays where he throws the ball outside the numbers. I'm trying to show plays where he Karuga, what's up, man? Yeah, this is gonna be a consistent thing. I'm gonna be able to stream on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. I'm not gonna ever try to step on top of, if a couple other people that do content, if they're streaming, I'm not gonna step on top of them. If they're streaming already, but I'm gonna try to stream every Tuesday and Wednesday night. I can stay up a little later now. I'm not locked up. Um, I'm not locked up in terms of having to get up early the next day. So, and hey, look, I'm also going to continue to throw this out there. I have gone out and created a database of Ravens film for people to watch. And for real, and I've said this in my videos, like you could use my database to make your own content, and it would take you way less effort to make it than it takes me sometimes. I would love to show some of you guys how to do it. I'm not gonna do a video on my YouTube for everyone to see though. I'll do it if you join my Patreon and you'll see it. My suggestion would be join my Patreon for 1 month for $5. See if you like it, and if you don't like it, then leave. All right, yeah, Karuga. Anyway, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. 10 targets against the Rams. Damn, I was wrong there. Godspeed. I had them mixed up. I knew there was 1 week when he didn't get a lot of targets. I totally agree with that, Empire, man. Great point. I almost always agree with you. It seems like that. He needs to build chemistry with Bateman, and of course we saw they were working out together. This is that same backside X, out like a speed out that we hit against Miami twice, right? And now here's Watkins hitting it against the Steelers. I do like Sammy Watkins, but I don't think we need him on this football team next year. I'm quite sure you guys would agree. I think he can still play in the NFL and he can go contribute. We just don't need him with the Baltimore Ravens. We've got enough young talent at receiver. Yep, EC3, absolutely. Them narratives are also. Did you see the somebody shared it? I retweeted it on Twitter. Some of the stupid questions Lamar was asked before the draft in 2018. I had forgot some of those. Man, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. They're going to find out next year. They're going to find out next year. Am I saying he's going to throw 40 touchdowns? No, I don't think so. I think Lamar's ceiling for touchdown passes is in the 30 to 34 range. Why? Because we got J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. Them guys are going to rush for touchdowns. We're not going to, you know what I mean? There's going to be some third and twos from the 28 when J.K. or Gus just bust it for a touchdown, and Lamar's not going to need to throw a touchdown. So I don't think he's ever going to be like in the 40 touchdown range just because of who we have at running back. Bill Seals, what's up, man? I really appreciate you joining the stream, man. Thank you. Thank you a whole lot. I'm trying to get these back going. I think you're getting a slant backside here to Watkins, similar to the Miami play that I showed you a minute ago. Hopefully you guys are still getting good audio. I don't know what's going on with I keep getting this notification that my audio bit rate is too low. So if my audio is cutting in and out, please tell me. Couch Rider, that's an interesting point you make, and I don't think it was necessarily the scheme. I just think there were definitive things that he was asked to do. As we've progressed to the next two seasons, and I said this, and Josh Hoffman, if he's still in here, he echoed it a couple of times. I don't know what kind of profession all of you guys have, but whatever your profession is whatever you do professionally or for a job, you have a workflow chart. You have what you are expected to do on a daily or weekly or monthly or yearly basis. That's your workflow. That's what you're asked to do at work. In my opinion, 2019, Lamar Jackson's workflow chart, if it was a flow chart, it looks something like this. He had maybe 3 things that he was asked to do, and maybe off of this one, it was 1 offshoot, and off of this one, it was 2, something. Hopefully I'm not drawing no devil insignias or anything. But in any case, that was 2019. As you got to 2020, it got a little bit wider. It looked like an umbrella that had been opened up some. Maybe it was 4, like this. 4 things in his workflow chart. And now maybe there were some more branches off of here. In my opinion, this past season was way too damn much. And I don't think it's because Lamar Jackson's dumb. That's a stupid thing. If that's what someone comes on here thinking about, then they're dumb. I think he still had like 5 branches, or 1, 2, 3, 5 branches, but each branch had multiple other things off of it. And what I'm saying is he was asked to do too many things. So I'm talking about Couch Rider's comment. I agree with him. I want 2019 form with LJ, but to me, that's because of the amount of things he was asked to do was too many things. They were still asking him to run some of the pistol option. And that D tackle's wrong, by the way. He's pointing. Remember, I don't know if you guys have seen this. I've showed this play many times. He's pointing over here. He's telling his guys, play's going over here. And then he flies out of there to that side because he's zone dropping. Everybody flies out, and they're wrong. It's a slant. But anyway, I don't know if I explained it well, Couch. I mean, that was my point, is that he's capable of that. It's just, whether or not his workflow chart is too wide. Kane's World, thank you, man. Appreciate that. What do you mind telling me what you joined under, Kane, so I can because anybody that joins the Patreon, I like to get them in my Discord, and I like to get them in the huddle, because the huddle's where the film is at, and then that's where people can watch whatever the hell they want, whenever the hell they want, but it's all categorized and organized for them. Here's that backside slant. I mean, we're good. Look, you guys have seen it. We've had Bateman back here. We've had Watkins back here. And we've had Andrews back here. And a little bit in the Broncos game, even Duvernay played back there. We're hitting people on the slant backside. We're hitting people on the little out or speed out backside. We hit people on the outside release go. We were on multiple. We were able to beat people backside with the X, but it just wasn't enough. We didn't threaten people enough to get them out of this coverage. I agree, Easy E. And I mean, I'm not a person who sits and talks about social issues a lot because I don't feel like I'm an expert at it. I mean, do I think there's a racial component to it? Of course, absolutely. In my opinion, though, me personally, being someone who has a voice that sounds kind of southern, I think a part of it is the way Lamar sounds, and I'm not blaming him for that. I think it's prejudice on people from the north, and I'm from the Mid Atlantic region, so I'm a little bit of both. You know what I mean? Mid Atlantic, we're not south, we're not north, we're a little bit of both. But they're judging him based on the way he talks, and that's not cool, in my opinion. There's multiple explanations for it or reasons, and they're all dumb. They're all dumb reasons. Anybody who's worked with the public knows that like people talk different, they walk different, they are different. Like who cares? Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen look totally different, but they got a very similar game. Josh Allen got shit after his first 2 years because his completion percentage was really low, interceptions was high. And the opposite is, true. Lamar was playing. That's the thing that's different about Lamar, though. He was playing great and still getting shit from, the media and other people. That's the thing that's different. Now, Josh Allen's playing great. You don't hear them things said about him. Lamar could come off with a 33 touchdown, 6 interception season, and they're still going to say it's not sustainable. That's stupid. That's dumb. Yeah, exactly, Godspeed. Totally, you know, totally, absolutely right. Law abiding citizen. No dumb stuff with him at all. I would be willing to bet you that Lamar Jackson is someone that gets along with everybody in the damn world. And why would you have a problem with Lamar Jackson? Like the way just because of the way he talks or the way he looks or where he's from. Like I said, I think a component to it that's not talked about a lot is because he's from the South and he talks like a person from the South. And I'm okay saying it. People from the North judge people from the South and think they're dumb. So you got two elements to it that he's being judged as if he's dumb. There's the racial component, which is stupid for people to say that. And then there's the Southern component. That's my opinion. I might be wrong on one or both of them. Marquise Brown on the over route this time, and I think this was against the Raiders. Now, someone earlier said the Ravens' pass concepts need to be better. I agree with you. There are times I do, but let's talk about something in Week 1 where the Ravens came in with a great game plan. The Raiders play a lot of cover 3, okay? And if you remember from Week 1, so cover 3, you got thirds. Oh, I love the no agent stuff. Me personally, I don't know about you guys. I love it. I love anybody who goes against the grain. I mean, you could probably tell that by listening to my my perspectives. I love the fact that he doesn't have an agent. He's got his mom doing it. I think it's great, and I think it burns up some of these other people. It burns them up. Anyway, the Raiders play a lot of cover 3, where they got the Sam linebacker, who's KJ Wright, and he will be responsible, for the curl to flat, and then you got a hook curl, and then the strong safeties roll it to the other side. This is a sure indicator that you got cover 3. When you got the strong safety rolled up to the field and the Sam to the boundary. This tells you it's cover 3. So one of the things those Ravens was doing is they were running this guy on a short route. So because what the Raiders do on the backside of 3-by-1, the Raiders will make a lock call or a Louis or a man, whatever it is. Basically, they're telling this corner, this is man. This is man right here. So what that does is when Andrews runs this short route, then this whole deep third here is open. And the Ravens did that consistently. Did it 3 times that I'm aware of in this game. So I'm not saying you're wrong, Ravens Online Ungatekeepers. That's an interesting name. I'm not sure. Can I just call you Roger? R-O-G? Thank you for joining the stream. But look, this is this good design. This is intelligent design. But this was week 1. They had the whole offseason to come up with this. The problem in football is when you get past week 1 and 2, now you've got to come up with a game plan in 2-3 days. And so I think that that might have been the issue. Look, you can see this DB is coming up on Andrews, and all this space over the that's poorly drawn. All this space is open over the top of him. That's what the Ravens were doing against the Raiders. They did it multiple times. Let me get to the comments a little bit. Joshua Richter, man, thank you for joining. Sorry I never said anything when you came in, but random question. Does anyone else see that the pass plays are set up for one wide receiver? Yeah, I think there's some times. Yeah, Josh. Yep. A 1 or 2 receiver read. Now, Huntley would just throw to the first guy. Just throw. Lamar is not like that. Lamar will look for the first guy, second guy, maybe the third, and come off him. I think early in the season, that's a great throw. Early in the season, a lot of us talked about this on the streams, right? We talked about Lamar will sit back there and let things develop. And when through 8 games or 9 games, 8, 9 games, the Ravens were averaging like 28 points a game. Everybody was talking about how good of a thing it is. But then as the season got on and more sacks developed, it suddenly became a bad thing. So, yes, Joshua, I think you might be right. There might be times where the pass plays is only set up for one guy. Godspeed, I'm on record giving Roman 1 more year. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what's going to happen now, right? Bill Seals, what a good point. When you're a little different and a little mysterious, people are going to talk. Yep. Like I said, man, I love that Lamar's different. I mean, I'm a Christian, but I don't judge people who are or are not or have a different religion. But I love the fact that Lamar, will sit there and profess his belief in something, whatever that thing is. I like the way Steve Harvey said it. He said, "Your God might be different from my God, but you still approach it probably the same way I do." And that's what I like about Lamar is that he kind of expresses a little bit of his faith. I think you get another over route from Andrews from the right, and he's getting held. He's getting held here. If you just joined the stream early on, we were talking about this over route from Andrews being lined up tight. Look, you can see him in the screen. For those of you that have been here the whole time, you can see him in the screen. So that tells you that it's an over route. That tells you that you've got a high priority or high probability of it being an over route. Mike Downing, what a great point. It burns up agents, and that's where a lot of this talk comes from. For real. Because they're probably feeding stuff to the media because they're mad they're not getting their money. Yup, love it. Like a realtor that lives 2 doors down from you that's mad because you're selling your house on your own, right? Because he wants his 3%. Another over route. I mean, this is all this year. All this film is this year. This is all good stuff, man. When we had time to deliver the football, we're in good shape. Joshua Richter, I agree with you as usual. Ravens have a good game plan against Seattle cover 3. Yep. Fabian, first of all, Fabian, thank you for joining the stream again, man. No run game this year because of injuries. Yeah, the run game was very inconsistent. I agree with that. I did like this play. I really don't like our... Did y'all watch my video on jokers? I mean, you may have a different football background from me, so you may have a different name for it. But our system that we ran for years, we called this with a fullback to one side and a halfback to the other. We called it jokers. This is predictable as hell. Let me rephrase that. It's somewhat predictable. But what I didn't like about it was there was no downhill run threat here. Whenever we gave you this, the run threats was, side to side. There was never any like kick and downhill run threat with the back. Never. It was dumb. Yeah, Mike Downing. Yeah, man, you get it. Exactly. They feed him information so he can put stuff out there. Man, you get it. Godspeed, man. They better go. I mean, man, I would be okay if they went O-line twice in the first 4 rounds. Maybe even now I say 4 rounds, I'm talking about all the fourth round picks we got. So what is it, five fourth round picks? Do we have five first round picks this year? Fourth round picks. Sorry, five fourth rounds. Nobody's open here. I mean, Oliver is running a clear out. The ball is not supposed to go to Oliver here. This ball is supposed to go to Andrews. This ball is supposed to go to Andrews here. Over the top of the linebackers. Just another over route is all it is. He just lined up in a 3-point stance. But these linebackers are playing it well. Where's this ball get thrown? Where's this ball get thrown that anybody can make a play on it? Wait a minute, say that again, Mike Downing. Lamar's on LeBron's show this week. You mean? I'm so disconnected from certain things. Like he's on like a podcast that LeBron does or something. That's cool. Yeah, he does treat everybody with respect. Exactly. I just don't see anybody open here. And there's some times where Lamar gets what's the word? Criticized for scrambling. Like you can't throw the football here. You got two safeties covering it. Average weight of the first 2 of 3 rounds. Then we can check Jordan Davis, right? All right, Nazir, man, thank you. I will do that. I will do that. I'm so disconnected from streaming lately that I've been I'm out of practice. Oh, okay, okay. I don't get HBO. I only have cable, man. That'd be cool. Anyway, look, Andrews not open. These guys are covered. These guys are underneath of him. So anything thrown to Andrews is going to have to be thrown out here, and you've got a safety sitting on it because it's clear out. And I have said this multiple times about some of our clear out routes. To me, our clear out route has got to get into the face of the safety. We're trying to pull. Look, we're pulling this route in here. Now this is just my opinion about clear out routes, and people can disagree with me. That's cool. I don't believe in pulling the clear out route in here because now you're bringing this safety into play. You've got to run it, in my opinion, you got to run it right at him. You got to run it into his face. So then if you need to throw this ball here, you can do it. That's just me, and um, maybe that's an elementary understanding of this coverage, but we're giving him a wheel. We're giving him a wheel. We're out and up with Brown. So we're saying this guy isn't going to be able to make this play. There's nowhere to throw the football. And there's multiple plays like this season where Lamar takes off and he just got 11 yards, I believe. So I'm not sure what the complaint is, man. If you've ever coached or played against a super athletic quarterback, it is no fun. No fun. With this bad offensive line, this was one of the things that they did that was helpful with Pass Pro was pulling a guy, and then giving everybody else angles to deal with. So they were giving people an angle to deal with. Yeah, I like that guy. I'm not a huge, you know, I'm not a huge fan of picking him like too early because I think it's always a fine line of where that guy's going to be available, right? But he seems pretty good to me. I do like some of the other offensive line guys. I'm not going to give away my thought. I mean, I am doing a live stream tomorrow night on the draft for the Ravens, and so me personally, I'm not going to give away some of the things that I'm going to go over during that live stream. But O-line early and often. That's my thought. Having said that, if Ahmad Gardner is there at 14, I say take him. Just based on what I've seen. And I don't think we did this enough. I think you're going to get 4 RPOs here in a row. I don't think we did this enough. The RPO game is The RPO game was lethal, straight lethal, because you got multiple options on here. You got option one, give the ball to the back. Let's assume that all of these are RPOs. Option two, you got some kind of hook. Option three, we had to stop. We did hit that. I do like Tyler Smith too. My buddy Skeptic Goat recommended him to me. I have watched some film, not enough to do a video. Well, I ain't putting no college videos. I'm not putting any college videos on my YouTube channel anymore. Never. But the RPO game, what I like about it is there's three options here. 1, 2, 3. And you notice who is not any one of those options? Lamar Jackson. When we run the RPOs, we're using Lamar as a facilitator. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's what Joe Burrow is. He's a facilitator. He gets the football to the guys who need the football and can make plays. He's not. Now, there was some times where he would scramble, so good, good. But we're using Lamar as a facilitator on RPOs, and that's what I like about the RPOs. We're letting him make a quick decision. Yeah, I agree Tyler Smith could play guard. I think we need a tackle first. But Tyler Smith is good. Good pick. Tyler Linderbaum is good too. Nazir, my bad for not putting it in the Discord. Thank you for joining the Discord too, man. Hope you're having fun in there. Have you been on Huddle much or no? I missed a play or two. Sorry, I was looking at something. Andrews backside. Looks like another RPO type play. Actually, I did this earlier on. Ingraven, how you doing, man? Thank you for joining. Hope things are going good. You get what looks like an RPO. I think this is just play action, but going off of what Joshua just said, the RPO being something you run 5, 6, 7 times a game, whatever that number is, then play action plays like this, defenders react as if it is an RPO. Because you don't know in that instant whether it's RPO or not. Well, I mean, I think I agree with you, Mike Downing, but here's an example of the guy crossing face. Now, this could be a blitz from Barr. He's coming downhill. That could be a blitz. And this guy's coming downhill too. If this is that looks like a blitz, and then it opens up the space. So I'll grant you that definitely the backs didn't command the attention that JK or Gus will. I got you. Well, Nazir, man, if there's something I can help you with, let me know, man. I already told you that. We gotta get up in there, man. I did save some stuff for inside linebackers to show you, but whenever you want, you just message me on there. Yeah, I mean, Mike, I think your point is valid that, they didn't command attention. On this particular play, this inside linebacker is definitely coming forward, but it might have been a blitz. But we can agree on this. When JK or Gus is back here and they're crossing Lamar's face and Lamar's meshing, putting the ball and touching their body with the ball, the people are going to react. You're going to get movement. You're going to get movement, right? And we can agree on that. The RPO concept, to me, should be run more. The Chiefs ran the hell out of RPOs, man. They ran RPOs like crazy. The Bills run RPOs like crazy. I'll never forget on one of the last live streams we did, somebody said, RPO is not an NFL concept. Man, if I could reach through the screen and smack someone for saying something like that, what about it is not an NFL concept? There's nothing that's an NFL concept. You know what I mean? If you can execute it and you're 10 years old, then you execute. That's a youth football concept. Well, if you can execute it, you can execute it. This is stupid. That's just judgmental people who want to judge Lamar for whatever reason. Same thing. This is not an RPO. This is a designed read on this guy. So actually, I should say it is RPO. Luis, how you doing, man? Thank you for joining the Patreon too, man. I've been really remiss at thanking people, in my videos, so I want to make sure I do that. You got a pulling guard and a pulling tackle. This should be a staple element of the Ravens next year. This should be something that's done at least 3 or 4 times a game. I'm talking about this particular concept. Reading this outside linebacker or rolled up strong safety. He's going with the mesh. You got the angled hook by Bateman, and you got Brown run out in the flats. This is stealing money from the. You could do this right here against the Bengals and make them change their defense. Because I'm gonna tell you what the Bengals don't do, and I've said it in our streams before. What the Bengals do not do is they do not roll a safety down and then roll another safety back. The Bengals do not do that. The Bengals do this right here. They will maybe roll a corner up and they'll run this safety high. So watch what happens. I'll pause it. So this is all pass. He's playing all pass. He's a safety, right? Makes sense. So you got 2 versus 1 over here. You got the angled hook by Bateman, and you got this route here. So what the Bengals do to solve that issue is the Bengals will take an inside linebacker. So this is an inside backer here, and this is an inside backer here. And then Barr is an inside backer who's rolled up. So some people call him an outside backer, whatever. What the Bengals will do on this motion by Brown is they will run this inside backer out of here. And they'll run him with Brown. Well, now we're giving them a matchup problem. If you ask me, I think this is what's got to be done against the Bengals next year. Because if they got the same defensive coordinator, he does not like to roll the safeties down at all. My intention in the offseason is to do a big video on the Bengals defense and show how the Ravens can attack it. And then I'll either be really right next year or I'll be really wrong. RPOs, quick out screens. I like that. I like that, Mike. Sorry if I got rambling, but it's been a while since I did a stream. I do like the Twitter spaces, man. I wish I could get in there with people. They do seem pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have done many of them or not. I just don't have the Twitter app on my phone. I don't like to put a lot of apps on my phone, to be honest with you. We talked about this one, the 2-point play, how, Andrews being on the offense's left is kind of like a dead giveaway that you're going to get something like this. He's not lining up here. Look, let's be honest. Mark Andrews is not a great run blocker. He's not lining up here for us to give the ball to Freeman and run off tackle here. You know what I'm saying? We don't like this matchup. Andrews versus Highsmith, who's a pretty good football player. But that's an RPO type look play. I would agree with that, Joshua. I think there was some times we forgot about it, though. Would you agree with that, Joshua, that there were some times where we kind of got, what's the word? We kind of got pressured as a staff, and we stopped going horizontal some. This is a really underrated throw. And, I mean, I get it. It's only a 5-yard throw from the line of scrimmage to the end zone. But it's not a 5-yard throw from where Lamar throws it and where the guy catches it. Lamar throws it from let's call it a 12. And Duvernay catches it 7 yards deep. 6, 7 yards deep. So I'm going to do the quick math on that. Is it 19 yards? Maybe it's called 17. Yeah, there's no way I'd watch State of the Union. I never watch one of them things. I'm not a politics person anyway. Not smart enough. I can tell you a little bit about football, though. I feel like this is an incredibly underrated play. And I can prove it. Watch Lamar's helmet. Here's a safety here. 23. And Lamar's going to get Andrew. Well, let me show you Andrews' route first. Here's Andrews on the right. Andrews is going to run something like this. He's going to pull this safety. When we get the end zone angle in a minute, I'm going to show you Lamar's helmet. And you'll see Lamar look at it. So there's the safety that got pulled with Andrews. And here's an inside backer. I don't know what number he is because my video resolution sucks. No, Game Pass sucks. For me, anyway. James and Victoria, man, thank you. Appreciate it. Nice to see you too, man. All right, so watch Lamar in terms of this safety here. I wish it was some people up in here who say Lamar is no good at quarterback. So watch his helmet. Boom. Lamar is looking here now. You know why? Because he knows this. Well, first of all, because that's where Mark Andrews is, so he's looking to see if he can throw the ball to Mark Andrews. If he can't, he knows that safety who's off screen. There's a safety right here off screen. Excuse me. There's a safety here off screen. Lamar knows if that safety goes with Andrews, then I've got this area here that I can deal with. So what they're doing is they're isolating a person. Once the safety goes with Andrews, he's isolated this guy here. Lamar cannot throw the football anywhere over here because the safety could deal with it. So he's got to throw the ball off the backside of 54. Look, the safety's still, quote, there. You know what I mean? But he can't throw it anywhere near like this 2/3 portion of the M or 75% of the M. I guess he does throw it right here, right? But he's got to keep it away from the safety, and he's got to get it around this linebacker. So he checks Andrews and the safety first. Okay, I can't throw it there. The safety's away. Good. Now let me deal with this guy, 54. I can't throw it through him, and I can't throw it over here because the safety's going to be able to make a play. So I've got to throw it behind 54. That's sick. That's sick. Anybody who watches plays like that and says like, oh, he can't make quick decisions or oh, he can't whatever is just, they're just stupid. Or they have an agenda. And their agenda is to sit there and argue that the sky isn't blue when the sky is clearly blue today. Mike Downing, yeah, going back to your point, RPOs I think should be a way bigger. In my database right now that I am, and I don't have every possession. Look, if it's anybody in my Patreon that wants to help me get plays on there, man, I will give you access to get plays on there because I do not have, I don't have every possession on there. My buddy Alan, Alan, what's up, man, who just joined, he has been a huge help trying to basically get plays labeled, get plays on there. Right now I have 16 RPOs on my database for the Ravens from last year. But again, I don't have every play. I don't have every possession. So it's probably more than that. Probably more. I think it should be tripled. If it was 16 RPOs last year, I think it should be 48 next year. Lamar's a generational QB. Yep, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah, we have a chance to win every game with him. No doubt. I showed this earlier. No need to really talk about it now. This doesn't really have anything to do with Lamar's passing other than taking advantage of the hyper aggressive coverage, the teams were playing as the season developed where they just looking at Lamar. They're just looking at Lamar and reading him. Now, they're not right now because they're communicating with each other, but you will see they get drawn. And my analogy earlier, hopefully you guys liked it. 3 dudes following a pretty girl at the mall. They just running and tracking Lamar. Now this guy's starting to realize it. This girl right here with the great personality has just walked right on by and nobody noticed her. Which one are you talking about, Alan? You talking about the touchdown? Yeah, man, that'd be great. Huge. You've been a huge help, man. I don't have no Rams footage or Packers footage in yet because Alan and I, what we were trying to do was hold off on footage not involving Lamar. We're trying to get all our tendencies. We're trying to get all our tendencies based on play calling on Lamar being on the field. And it wasn't many RPOs run with it was no RPOs run with Josh Johnson, and it wasn't many with Huntley. 2 consecutive plays I'm showing you here where we throwing the ball outside the numbers. Remember that whole stupid narrative? So that's a short throw from the standpoint of the line of scrimmage was here, right? And he's catching the ball here. But when you really actually see where this ball is thrown from, if you now in the NFL the hashes are tighter, okay, but in college and high school, if you throw the ball from one hash and the ball is caught all the way, like this is 5 yards from the sideline, maybe 4. That's a long ass throw. I mean, if you don't think that's a long ass throw, take your butt out there and try to make that throw. Tell me it's not a long ass throw. That's a long ass throw. Now, and I'm talking about in high school and college. It's not as long from this right hash in the NFL because the hashes are tighter. The hashes are closer together, and they do that intentionally because they want people to run more stuff to the boundary in the NFL. They want it to be a more balanced game. College and the NFL, everybody runs everything. College and high school, everybody runs everything to the field. Unless you're Penn State. Penn State runs a whole bunch of stuff into the boundary. But that's another video. This is a cool throw, though, man. Long throw from the 40. Catching it at the 27. So 13-yard throw from here to here. My Pythagorean theorem skills are out of practice. So 13 yards there to there. I would say this is maybe 18 yards, something like that. So I don't know. What would this be? 18 squared, 13 squared. What would that be? Somebody want to figure it out? Because I can't. Would love to see Roman steal some McVay concepts. Yeah, true. Goes a bit too far over the middle on the TD. I thought he was supposed to go up the field more. I think he's trying to go around the inside linebacker. I can't remember if there's another safety backside on that, though. But yeah, his right foot's on the hash. That's a long throw. Another one outside the numbers. I think this is a drop or maybe a bad throw. No, it's a drop. Same thing, ball's on the right hash. And we throwing it from the 26. Ball hits his hands on the, 38? We'll say 38. So that's 12 from here to here. Probably 20 here. So I don't know what the actual, I don't know what this is, but it's going to be pretty damn far. You know, I don't know what it is, but it's going to be pretty damn far. I'm probably losing people in the stream talking about math stuff. I love hearing people say certain things like you can't throw outside the numbers or can't do this or can't do that. And then I just do a video of it. I just throw the video up. And I'm like, okay, well, here it is. You know, here it is. Yeah, I agree, Nazir. You talking about this last play? Nazir, you talking about this play? I didn't even notice that. What's he do? Does he pass pro and then release? Does he release late? Joshua Richter, none. Great point. None. Because, like you said, it was just not going to be time. I don't see how people didn't recognize that the O-line completely hampered our ability to do anything, especially once people started bringing a lot of pressure. Like, we just weren't able to handle it. Look, we're bottom 8 talent level at O-line in the NFL this year, somewhere around there. We're definitely not middle of the pack talent level this year, you know, without Ronnie Stanley. It was bad. And that's not being disrespectful towards these dudes. They're working hard. You know, they're working hard. They're trying to win games, but we're just not talented right now there. A little small and not super talented there. Good season. Good season. Gave us more than we thought he would, but even still, Makari is not going to be a starter, you know, out there all season long. There's going to be matchups he struggles with, although he did do real well against Chris Jones in a run game. I don't know if you guys remember that. I'm going to do a stream tomorrow night on draft stuff. If you got to play, I'm not going to show any film though. I can't. I'm not messing with college all 22 film anymore on my YouTube. I'll put it on other. I'll put it on other platforms or a shared drive, but I'm not putting it on YouTube ever again. And I see other people doing it, and I'm glad they are, but I can't do it because they're gonna hit me. I'm like the red sports car, I guess. They're gonna give me a ticket as soon as I go 62. Pressure coming by the Broncos, and we get the ball out quick. And this is Duve, right? This is Duvernay. So I misspoke earlier. No, actually I did mention him as the backside X. So we got 3 here. We got 3 receivers up here. As the backside X this year, we used Bateman. We used Watkins. We did use Andrews some, and I think he was real effective in that role. And then here we are with Duvernay. Clearly we're not going to have Watkins next year, or we shouldn't. So those 3 can play back. I mean, it's pretty incredible that Duvernay is a guy who can play back here as the X and operate and win the one-on-one matchup like he does right here. And we didn't even talk about Duvernay or Prochet in this video at all. Both those guys can clearly contribute if you're going to be an 11 personnel throwing the football often. How you guys want me to do a live stream, next week on some offensive stuff? Let me know in the comment section, or if you're in my Patreon in the Discord, just let me know in the Discord. This is ridiculous. A friend of mine said it best one time, and some of you guys that are young won't get this. He said when Lamar Jackson takes off sometimes, he looks at Bo Jackson on Tecmo Bowl. Just a different speed than everybody else. Is this the one where Marquise Brown stops playing football? Is it Marquise Brown? No, it's not Brown. There was a play where Lamar scrambled against the Steelers, and Marquise Brown stopped playing football, and it kind of pissed me off because I saw, the opportunity for a bigger play, but it was not this one. Anyway, I'll be doing more streams on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I'm going to kind of roll this up, here soon. A lot of it's going to be focused on the offense. A lot of it's going to be using the film from the database that me and Alvin and other people is working on. Another example of Lamar going through the progressions. This is empty. So he's got one over here. He's looking at something. Almost throws the football. Comes all the way back. I just think that's a classic quarterback play at the professional level. I think you're getting this under route by Watkins, and then he breaks it off and goes vertical, catches it somewhere around in this area here. The little under, slips behind the defender because he's savvy. A great throw. I don't see how there's any other characterization that that's a great throw. Sean Paul, what's up, man? Well, I think some of them did improve, early in the season. We were talking about the attacking cover 3. I do think we had trouble attacking quarters coverages. Montana to Taylor. I like that. That's a good reference. I think the passing game was really hampered by the O-line, to be honest with you, Sean. I really think it was really hampered by the O-line. Some of the passing schemes, I didn't really, this is not the topic of this video, but I'm going to try to find one real quick. There was some what's called choice routes built into the offense this year, more so than last year. Now, none of them are illustrated there. Maybe I can find one real quick. I don't think any of them are illustrated here. I mean, as a backside X, this can always be a choice route. If you get off coverage, then you turn it into an out. If you get press coverage, excuse me, if you get press coverage and a half field safety over here, then you turn it into an outside go. There's always choice routes for the X, but my point is the Ravens, in my opinion, built in more choice routes this year for other positions than just the X. I'm trying to find another one. I may not be able to find one. Trying to find a good example. Sorry about all this fast forwarding. All right, so we're gonna make one up here on the fly. Let's say that and I have seen this. I have seen this. Okay, I've seen this one. Now this safety's gonna get depth and get deep. This corner's gonna kind of sit in this area here. Brown's run out in the flats. I talked about this play ad nauseum like 20 minutes ago. I have seen this choice route out of Rashad Bateman. Now this play is not exactly what I'm talking about. I have seen Bateman go to the hash, and then his read, not on this play, but I've seen this before, so I'm drawing it up. His read would be if the safety gets deep, then you sit. All right. If the middle of the field is closed, excuse me. If the middle of the field is open, so meaning either the safety vacates or it does something, he goes through the middle of the field. We used to call it a lube route, but that's a choice route. Now that's not what happens on this play. This is Alan, I know which one you're talking about. Absolutely. This is not a choice route. This is a snag or angled hook with Brown running out into the flats. But what I'm saying to you is, based on what this safety does here, I have seen choice routes by the Ravens in 2021, which we did not see in 2022. We did not see them concepts, if you ask me. So as far as advancement of the passing schemes, I do think there was. Do I think it was enough? No. No, what clearly was not enough. Particularly late in the season, things deteriorated quickly. But there was some improvement in the schemes and the teaching of the schemes. A lot of those people sharing stuff on Twitter and other places about the receivers being too close together don't know what the hell they're talking about. There are some who do. There's some. Arlovsky had a good video on it. He did. But some other people sharing it, they take a snapshot and they don't know what the hell they're talking about because the routes are designed to be close together for a moment and then create space at a certain time based upon the drop. Nazir, I think they ran some better pass plays with Huntley towards the end of the season. Yeah, there were some good ones in there too. I think there's plenty of good ones with Lamar in there also as well. I mean, we averaging 28 points a game through 8 games or maybe 9 games. James and Victoria, he looks so fast. It looks like he's never trying. Yeah, looks like he's never trying. Yep. Well, for this team to win this year in 2021 with this roster, they needed to run the ball more. To win with this roster, they needed a more conservative game plan. Like you said, to preserve Lamar and not get him hit so much. And then use the play action pass and Lamar running strategically. They weren't going to win games 35-31 with this team. But 2022 is going to be a different thing. We're going to have better running backs, hopefully better O-line, and hopefully a more balanced defense that's not taking needless chances. Yeah, there was definitely improvement in the passing concepts. I think that was kind of obvious, especially early in the season. There was definitely improvement, especially some of the choice routes, like we said, or some of the reads that players had to do mid-play. But as far as play calling as the game progresses, you got to blame the whole offensive staff. You can't just blame one. They all got headsets on, and they're looking for certain things, during the game. So there's certain times when we got away from, things that were working. I have said, and multiple people have said, that there's times where things are working, and we go away from it too quick. And it's like, man, you got to keep going with it until until they stop it. But in any case, man, that's pretty much the content that I had for tonight. I mean, I did have some Lamar run plays, but I wasn't. This is about pass plays. This is about pass plays. These are, I think, 8 or 9 runs that he had in this second half type of the season, or week 7 onward. The Bengals were giving us the quarterback run. And what I mean by that is they were taking away the dive. They were going to make us run the ball with Lamar. That was a strategic decision they made. It's amazing to me. This play, do I give you the end zone angle? Hopefully I do. First round, I agree. I mean, if Gardner's there, I just don't know how you pass on him. He just looks so good. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the video on my other channel about Gardner before it was, removed. Um, he's the real deal, man. Roger McCreary's good. There's 2 or 3 other guys that are really good too. So I'm not saying they're not good, but man, how does he? He just doesn't get tackled. Look at this. That's insane. That is. Peep. You know how like you hear a musician, a musician or an actor or a performer or a singer or whatever, and they're great, and you recognize that they're great. But then as you age, some of you guys that are young, you can't identify with this. But as you get older, 20 years pass by, and you look back on that and you go, damn, that I was blessed to be there. That's how this level of athleticism in a quarterback, this is ridiculous. He just doesn't get tackled. 20 years from now, there might have been, another 2 or 3 Lamar Jacksons. Now, there's going to be more Lamar Jacksons in terms of people who can do this, but not this level, not this speed, not this unbelievable, Man, I'm going to do a draft thing tomorrow night, William King and Jonathan Washington. First of all, thank you guys for commenting, man. I appreciate everybody joining in. Yeah, Charles Cross. Oh, if Charles Cross is there and Gardner, then, Charles Cross has probably got to be the guy you take, yeah. I do not think Gardner's there at 14, and I might be wrong. Like, I'm one of those people, I'm willing to be wrong for the risk to possibly be right. So me personally, I don't think Gardner's there at 14. I think he's gone. I don't see how he's not gone. Like, Jameson Williams is going to be drafted somewhere in the 16 to 24 range, something like that, supposedly. Jameson Williams got shut down by Gardner. Like, shut down. So, I just don't know what people will be looking at if they don't like Gardner. If they don't, but am I saying that we should take him over a extremely high-level offensive lineman? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. O-line should be the priority, for real. Watch this play by 54. This is sick. Guys, that is, I coached inside linebackers. Never nobody this good. Never anybody this good. This is unbelievable. Fighting off Villanueva. And Lamar sees it, so Lamar's trying to kick this thing back outside Villanueva's block. Villanueva's pulling. This is one thing that Villanueva was actually pretty good at, was pulling and being on a track and taking advantage of smaller guys. But watch what Kendrick does here. He might be getting held there in a face mask. Phew, that's unbelievable. Cross probably is a top 10 guy too. Yeah, you're probably right. Jonathan Washington, I would really like to see the Ravens, like if Gardner's there at 14 and no other really super high level O-lineman is there, then go ahead and get Gardner. And then, like you said, try to trade back into wherever you could and get a guy like Penning. Look, I think Jordan Davis is unbelievable. I'm going to tell you right now. I think Jordan Davis has the potential to be an absolutely dominant player. Now, is he going to have the physical stamina to do that? I don't know. Maybe not. But Jordan Davis does things that nobody else does on film in college football, for real. Does he get taken at 14? I don't know. He might still be there at 24. Hell, he might still be there at 34, because apparently conditioning is an issue. But the film that he's got, he's unbelievable. Hendricks is very underrated, man. Very underrated. I'm a big fan of Devin Lloyd. I mean, obviously everybody likes Nakobe Dean. I'm not as big a fan of Nakobe Dean as I am with Lloyd, but man, Lloyd is the real deal if you ask me. I know other people have done videos saying that they don't like him. I mean, that's cool. I haven't watched enough, Jonathan, to really evaluate that dude, and that's one of my problems. Like with the, for me, with the college all 22 is like I'm I'm not going to sit there and say that like I have seen all these dudes in complete detail. I have not. Daniel Falel. I don't even know how to say his name. I feel bad mispronouncing it. I haven't seen enough to say like, oh, take him over this guy or take him over that guy. But I see what the projections say that where he should be taken. Correct me if I'm wrong. The projections say somewhere between 25 and 45, right? Yeah, I would not go edge player for at all, like at all, until you get to those fourth round picks where we have a glut of fourth round picks. There's just Bowser, of course, you got the injury issue, but there's Owe, and I personally believe Owe needed more reps this past year. I know he was hurt near the end of the season, but what what's the point of having a guy with Owe's talent, long term talent, and not giving him unbelievable, unbelievable amount of reps to accelerate his improvement? To me, you know, the NFL with the rookie contract structure has basically recreated college and high school. And what I mean by that is the freshman, sophomore, junior, senior paradigm or concept. And we would always say in high school, like we want to turn our sophomores into juniors. How can we do that? How can we get it to where our kids have two senior years as high school coaches? Like meaning intelligence wise, execution wise, they have two consecutive senior years, not just one. And so we would try to accelerate that process in different ways. And to me, Owe is a guy who we should have been thinking about year 2 and 3 during year 1, trying to get him as many reps on the edge, as many times where he had to adjust mid play. So me personally, like as even though Ojabo and Hutchinson are really good, I wouldn't want either one of them if they were there at 14. But you're right, that would be the most Ravens pick ever. Josh Enzer, that's an underrated point that you make there. That the Ravens have a lot of cap dedicated to the secondary, and going to another secondary guy could be, overkill. That's a good point. That's interesting, Jonathan. Yeah, I like that. I mean, I don't know how you don't William Kang. Like, what would be the rationale? Like someone just said about the secondary. What would be the rationale for going to Ojabo or Hutchinson or whoever could be there at 14 as an edge player? What what would be the rationale for that if you have Owe and Bowser? Tyus Bowser played at an All-Pro level. Period. Period. He played at a level that there ain't 10 guys that played at all year. I'm talking about what he did from week 1 until the last game he played before his injury. Tyus Bowser played better than 96% of the edge players in the NFL. I mean, there might have been 6 guys, maybe 8, maybe 10 at the most, that played better, if you ask me, from what he's able to do against the run, against the pass, and dropping out in coverage. Yeah, I do agree with that, Jonathan Washington. There seems to be a couple of people that are out there for like these cheap deals. Somebody on Twitter, man, I forget who it is, really smart guy. Gosh, I forget his name. He keeps mentioning Danielle Hunter from the Vikings. Whereas, like, if a team trades for him, that team is only responsible for like 1.4 million or something. So you're really getting a guy with incredible talent for a very low cost. Interesting idea, I guess, because of the way the contract is structured. Maybe I'll take a look, Jonathan, at Daniel Falel's stuff tonight. Like I said, I don't have to get up early anymore, so I'll take a look at some stuff. Some of those guys, Josh, have that. They have those contract structures where, like, if you trade for them, then their original team has to eat like a lot of the salary or something. It's interesting. I don't really pretend to know a lot about them contracts. I don't have the time to, study them. But I do know on Twitter, one of my people I follow, uh, he's been talking about the Danielle Hunter contract a lot. Nazir said we need to fill spots on the O. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, James and Victoria, good point. Bowser was just so good this year, man. There's just so much that he did well against the run, against the pass. He just did it. Coverage and pass coverage. Wasn't it the Browns game, the home game against the Browns that we won when he had 2 tackles? He had 2 tackles on the last 2 plays, or good coverage on the last 2 plays, third and fourth down. I might be wrong. Maybe it was only one, but in any case, Tyus Bowser can cover. Tight ends, running backs, he can cover. He can rush the passer. He's more athletic than quarterbacks. Obviously, he sacks them. He's great against the run. He's a good edge defender. If we go edge, it should be a 4th-round guy. It should be a 4th-round guy. Uh, and that way you're not, dedicating too much salary, number one. And number two, you're not relying on that guy to be a huge contributor, but he can be a guy that rotates. So we still got Dalen Hayes. And really, to be honest with you, I mean, Pernell McPhee could come back and play. Is he going to come back and play 40 snaps a game? No. Is he going to come back and play 20 snaps a game in run situations? Absolutely. He can do that. Confident in Ben Cleveland. It's interesting to me, Jonathan Washington. I would make the same statement about Ben Cleveland that I just made about Oweh. That a long-term mentality needed to be taken. Although I know there was concussion and other injury issues with Cleveland, Ben Cleveland. So year 2 to me needs to be looked at like, hey, we got to get him as many reps as possible, and so he can show us what he's not able to do. Whatever he's not able to do, if we can game plan around that, then we can game plan around that. But if there's certain things that he's got to be able to do most things. He's got to be able to do most things. Ben Cleveland certainly had issues against the Rams on 2 or 3 plays that were well chronicled. But I thought he competed against the Rams. For large portions of that game, I thought Ben Cleveland did a nice job. Now, I don't know what his grade was. I don't, I know I can never pronounce his last name. He does a great job on like O-line grades. I do try to read that, when I can. I don't remember what Ben Cleveland's grade was against the Rams, but you're talking about Super Bowl champion that won the game because of their D-line, primarily dominating the Bengals. And I thought Cleveland did an okay job that game. So am I confident in him? I guess I'll say, he played well against the Rams, well enough for us to be able to have an opportunity to win the game, right? So I think we can win football games with him. Yeah, Luis, the money that is guaranteed is what the Vikings have to pay. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yep. Oh, Josh Enzer, totally agree. Oh, what a great point. That Bowser's contract, after rookie deals, got to be top 5 in the NFL for value, for what we get from him. Yes, agreed. And that's why I don't think that they go edge player. Unless there's a freak that's there that shouldn't be. Like in the 2nd round, if there's some freak edge player that's there, not Ojabo or Hutchinson, they're not going to drop that far. But, and look, Ojabo has some issues. I mean, I'm just going to say it. Ojabo has some issues with stance and get off. He's extremely explosive, and he makes a lot of plays, and he's a really good player. But his stance sucks sometimes. And before YouTube deleted it, I had gone over it as such on a video studying that. And that says a little bit about McDonald, too, because if you're letting players line up in a bad stance, that says something about you. You should be pulling them off the field and addressing it and then seeing if they make the correction. Can't play great consistently out of a bad stance. And Ojabo was in a bad stance often, 10% of the time. 15% maybe 15%. So that's a small, gripe about him. Hutchinson too, though. Hutchinson, both of them as edge players were in high stances, straight legs, didn't have power angles created in their ankles, knees, and hips. Until the last second. There was times where Ojabo and Hutchinson are in a bad stance, and then the ball snapped, and then at that instant they're getting in a good stance. And against the talent they were playing against in college, they were able to get away with that because they were just better. Not going to be able to get away with that in the NFL. That split second lost actually turns into zero point 0.2 seconds or 0.2 of a second lost at the snap, turns into 0.4 seconds, 2 seconds into the play. It's a multiplier effect. It's exponential. So maybe I'm not explaining it well, and that's okay. What a great point, James. Cleveland reminds you of Bozeman. Yeah, wow, what a great point. Way less mobile, but a few less pounds might help that. Wow, interesting point. Trying to win every year does that to you. That's a good point too. Man, I'm a huge fan of Arnold Beckety. Huge fan. What's that left tackle's name for Ohio State? Nicholas Petit Ferreira, I think. Man, Beckety took him to school. Beckety put it on him. I would not want anything to do with Nicholas Petit Ferreira just based on that game. But of course, Arnold Beckety had a hell of a year, so it's not like he was going against a bum. But I thought Beckety put it on him. That was a really bad game for Petit Ferreira. I'm sure he had a lot of other games that were better than that one, but that one was poor for him. Jonathan Washington, I can't really, me personally, I'm not capable of ranking them. You know what I mean? I can't really rank them. And I don't really get into that too much anyway. But if Cross is there, you take him. And there's two or three other guys that if they're there at 14, you take them, but they won't be there. They won't be there. I think they've probably got to double up. What I mean by double up is 14 and then maybe third round. Or if someone's there in the second, then take him in the second. I like a Beckety though, man. I don't even know that he'll be there for the Ravens in the second. I mean, the season he had at Penn State, of course, he was only at Penn State for 1 year. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to be doing Penn State stuff next fall because I'm trying to. I'm not going to lie. I'm trying to make as much revenue as possible out of YouTube, and I have a blast doing this, man. A blast. Not enough, Josh answer, but my buddy Skeptic Goat on Twitter recommended him to me, and I did download some film of him. I didn't break it down like do a film study, but I saw enough to see that he can play. Where is he available? I don't know. I don't know. But I like Tyler Smith. He looks good. I like Trevor Penning. He looks good, but I don't. I think those people talking about taking Penning at 14 is like that's a little bit of a stretch. I see Penning as a 20, a 30 to 40 guy, somewhere around in there, and I might be a little low on that. I'm okay with that. I'd take Penning over Petit Ferrer. I would. Yeah, that'd be great if Bozeman would do that. Bozeman's got more family up here than people think. I think he's originally from Alabama, but he's got some family in Pennsylvania. I've actually met him a couple times, and so it's not like he's a person that's going to move south to get closer to family or whatever. He could stick around. I like Kennard. I do like Kennard. I've seen some complaints about him, but from what I saw of him, I saw him against Alabama. I think it was Alabama. I think it was Alabama. I thought he looked pretty good. Yeah, Linderbaum is good too at 14. It's going to be. What if Linderbaum and Gardner are there at 14. It's going to be interesting if Gardner's there at 14. I mean, then again, you have multiple guys that are, high salary positions for the Ravens, but man, it's tough to pass on a guy with that kind of talent. Oh man, Luis, really, you like Indiana or Illinois? I'm actually in the. Have you looked on the Luis? Have you looked on the huddle? I've got the Penn State Illinois game on there, and it's not broken down yet, but I've got it. I'm starting to break it down. I've got the plays labeled and everything. That's all. That's on the huddle, man, for you to see. So if you like Illinois, man, you let me know. I'll get some more games on there. I'm trying to do whatever I can for my patrons because my wife and I are blown away that people are pledging money every month to support what I'm doing. So I want to try to do something back. And it didn't cost a ton of money. It was a decent cost, but it wasn't a ton. James and Victoria's too bad the quarterback class is so to push. Okay, that's interesting, huh? So a deeper quarterback class would push some of that high end talent back. Got it. Makes sense. That seems like common sense to me. Yeah. Good point. Oh, okay, Luis, Indiana. Gotcha. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Kind of got into the college stuff, but I figured that would happen. Um, it's going to be a interesting draft and an interesting lead up to the draft. I'm trying to figure out a way to do content on YouTube, on the draft without just me sitting here talking because I feel like I don't know. I like to show film, man. I like to show film and then use the film as a jump off point or a foundation to make further points. And I'm not doing that. I'm not risking it with college all 22 film. Not on this channel. I'm trying to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. I like that, Jonathan. I mean, I get it. I get it. Make the O line a priority. You got to. You got to put Lamar in a better position. It is totally unfair what happened to him this year. Um, I mean, look, I said it after week 3, after the Detroit game. I said it in a live stream. Some of y'all might remember that we need to mortgage future assets and go get an offensive lineman right now. I said it after the 3rd game because at that point you could see the progression of what was happening at the left tackle position. Um, and I mean, when I say mortgage future assets, I mean, if we had to give up a 2nd rounder and a 4th, do it. Because I felt like, I mean, this team this past year, you could win football games against anyone with the way we had it this year. Think about that. We were in every game, except for the Bengals game in week 7. We were in every game that Lamar Jackson played with a chance to win the game. And it's the modern NFL. The NFL wants the game to be extended. The NFL wants close games. They want to encourage referees and teams and whoever to play close games. So we're in the game against everyone with a horrible O-line. One more high-quality left tackle could have really, transformed this team. Yeah, I said it, and I'll say it again. I think we should have mortgaged some future assets to go get that around week 3 or week 4. Strategically, if you had somebody who could stick around for a year. That's a good point, Josh Enzer. They'd probably cut Tavon so they could transfer his money. He had a good year, though. He had a good year. I'm interested in James. Juwan James, I think. Because I think he's on a contract for 1 more year, right? I'm interested in him to see what he does if he's healthy, or whatever. Man, I appreciate you guys doing the stream. I probably got to cut it now. I'm going to do a little bit more work on my. If anybody in here is in the Patreon, I'm going to jump in the Discord for a while and do some work on some film if you want to jump in the Discord and have a conversation. I appreciate you guys, man, checking out the stream. I know it wasn't as busy as usual, but it was actually really fun having only about 15 or 20 in instead of 130, 140. Made it Mm, I like both of them, Luis. I've been a huge fan of Masvidal since oh man, I'm trying to think of the organization. I watched him fight, not live. I watched him fight it was on TV years ago. It was on TV on cable. I'll think of it and I'll message you in the Discord. I think Covington is going to push the pace, and that's his path to win. The only problem with that for Covington is he could put himself at risk, and Masvidal is an excellent striker. Now I know he got knocked out by no, thank you guys, man. Josh, James, man. Appreciate you guys always joining in and making comments and just being real positive. And man, I'm really thankful that people come in and watch the stream. Trying to rebuild the channel. Losing 8,000 subscriber channel kind of sucked, but we're gonna try to rebuild this one as fast as possible. No, it wasn't Strikeforce, Luis. It was way before then, buddy. Way before then. Eddie Alvarez fought in it. It was in a ring. The ring was white, and it had a lot of red decoration in the ring. Eddie Alvarez fought in it, and Eddie was a champion before he got beat by somebody over there. If you asking me for a prediction on Masvidal Covington, I would say one of two things happens. Either Covington really pushes the pace and does to Masvidal what he did to Robbie Lawler, really drain him and force all the fast twitch out of him, so where in the third and fourth and fifth round Covington can stand and strike with him because he slowed the hands down and he's drained the gas tank of Masvidal. Or Covington opens himself up and Masvidal catches him a couple of times early, which could really change the night. Nah, it wasn't Dream. Nah, good guess though. Good guess, Luis. We're gonna figure it out, but it wasn't Dream. I'm a huge fan, and I'm actually one, Luis. I think the Masvidal Covington feud might be strategic by them for real. They have said some things to each other that's pretty nasty, obviously, so that sounds like a dumb thing for me to say. But those two guys were so close for so long. It's also possible that they collaborated to come up with this. Like, hey, we're gonna slow build this rivalry, and then we're gonna use it. Because think of it this way: Masvidal and Covington, the rivalry, like they didn't need it. They didn't need this fight 3 years ago, 2 years ago, even a year ago. They didn't need this fight. They both ended up getting their shot at Usman. They both lost. They're to me, it's possible they're cashing this rivalry chip in when they need it, like for one of them to get the shot. Hey, I'm just saying, I'm just offering it as a theory. I really like both of them. Masvidal is probably one of my top 5 fighters of all time. Always been a fan of his. When he got choked out by that reverse triangle choke in another org that I'm forgetting the name of, that was tough. Bellator. When he got that reverse triangle choke, that was tough to watch because he went to sleep. He's had a great career. I really, really like Covington, though, man. Love his style. I love that he's willing to put himself out there and not give a shit what people think. He's playing a role, clearly. Covington's playing a role. Yeah, he's playing a role. Come on. We know that. We know that. But he's doing a great job of it. So give him credit. If I had to pick, if I had to pick, this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I'm going to say Masvidal by third round finish. There you go. And I might be way off. Masvidal is definitely on the down slope, if you ask me. Masvidal is definitely, he's not at his peak. So, sorry we've been talking MMA for those of you guys that aren't MMA fans. Hey man, I appreciate you guys checking out the stream. I'm gonna jump